possible.
Time to get your toes in the sand. The best beach volleyball conference in the country. Conference tournament kicks off next. What a gorgeous day in Northern California. We're on the campus of Stanford University for the opening day of the Pac-12 Conference Beach Volleyball Championship inside Stanford Beach Volleyball Stadium. Day one of a 3-day tournament on Pac-12 Network. We'll tell you how the brackets look. This first match is going to be Utah versus Oregon. The winner of this will play the top-ranked and top-seeded UCLA Bruins. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson, alongside 3-time beach volleyball Olympian Holly McPeak. Holly, USC has won the tournament these last couple of years. Much deeper field now.
Well, the talent across the country is better than it's ever been. So deeper talent pool, harder to win, but UCLA the favorite.
Let's take a look at this match specifically, Oregon and Utah. What should we be looking for? Two programs in their infancy.
Well, they're young in terms of beach volleyball, but they're very established indoors. Right now, they're using their indoor athletes in the sand. So they're learning, but great athletes will learn quickly.
All right, well, let's run you through the rules, because if you're used to the pro game, collegiate beach volleyball is a little bit different.
It certainly is. You're going to play a flight. We're going to play 5 matches. Best 3 of 5 wins the duel. The first flight, pairs 4 and 5 will match up. The second flight, pairs 1, 2, and 3. First program, 3 wins the duel. And then first 2 out of 3, first 2 sets to 21, third, if necessary, to 15, win by 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun week of action. No intermission between flights, so the action's going to keep going on and on. Volleyball all day long. So again, 9-seed Oregon versus the 8-seed Utah Utes. As Holly just told you, 2 courts of action happening at first. The 4 and the 5 pairs will square off. We're going to turn our attention to the 4 pairs to start things off. And each pair holds equal weight. So whether it's your 1s or your 5s, it all counts as 1 point.
Correct. And that's important when you want to grow a program. You need depth. Some of the programs have 3 strong pairs, but they need 4 and 5 to compete.
So the 4 pairs at Maggie Scott and Ronica Stone for Oregon. Maggie Scott going to start things off serving number 12 in the green, facing Berkeley Oblad and Laura Gauta for Utah.
I was watching Maggie Scott warm up. She's got a fantastic jump float serve. She mixes up the depth in the court. It's a good way to score points in the sand.
Scott, and setter on the indoor program, now in her senior year, finishing up her time in Eugene. Oblad, little one, to the line and good.
It's interesting. You've got these big physical players. They come out in the sand and they want to shoot the ball around instead of go up and hammer. But that was a great shot by Berkeley Oblad on the cut shot for Utah.
Ronica Stone serving. Service ace.
I like the float serve. You know, Maggie Scott's a passer. A setter. So she has to get in the situation and pass when she's used to making that second contact.
Yeah, she doesn't pass at all in college. Up to the taller Oblad, over the top of Ronica Stone.
Good tip over the block, using her size as Berkeley Oblad at the net. She's 6'4". Good push up to the net, and nice little roll shot right off the top of the block.
They're going to keep the service on Scott for the reasons you said. This one, an opportunity over. And interesting that Gauta steps in to pass the ball instead of giving it to the longer Oblad.
Well, for Oregon right now, it's all about passing. So Ronica Stone needs to push Maggie Scott to the side. Maggie Scott needs to get low and under the ball. But right now, Utah's moving the ball around the court.
Oblad back up into the net.
There you see Maggie Scott finally gets a pass. They switch sides. Good adjustment by Oregon. And Ronica Stone will go to the service line and run up to the net to block.
And this is tough for the indoor players as we look at Ronica Stone serving. These are players that are elite indoor who outdoor are still learning the game. It's a humbling experience.
Very humbling, and I think it scares a lot of players away. I've seen all-world indoor players who played in the Olympics come out in the sand and be so frustrated. They struggle to hit the ball, struggle to move. You can't broad jump to balls. There's so many differences in the game between beach and indoor.
Berkeley Oblad serving now, and head coach of Utah, Brenda Whitaker, sharing with us that Oblad was one of those players, didn't want to play beach because it's scary. Again, she's 6'4", so long, a very successful middle. You're kind of starting at the end and you're caught in quicksand.
That's a really good point. Berkeley Oblad is in the middle where she just hits and blocks, but here she's forced to pass, set, and do all the small things because you're touching every other ball in the sand. You cannot hide out here.
Side switch at 7, as we mentioned. The first set is to 21 points, so they will be switching sides at 7s. Oblad pass. Gauta set. Little. Ronica Stone looking for the corner, goes off the hands of Oblad. Well done.
I think I've talked about it before, but challenging skill to learn is setting. Because if you're not used to setting the ball, usually you have a 5-1 setter. That person's only job is to set, and you just have to be ready to pass and hit. So the toughest skill on the beach to learn is setting. Let's see if Maggie Scott can use that tough serve that I saw during warm-ups.
Oblad's pass on the money. Gauta sets, and that one right in the wheelhouse of Berkeley Oblad.
And that's the set. Lauga Gauta puts a beautiful setup for Berkeley Oblad, who at 6'4" should just go up and hammer it every time. That's unstoppable.
Dribbler. It counts for Gauta.
Well, Gauta went aggressive, had enough pace off that serve to catch the top of the tape and drop on the opponent's side. If you're Oregon, you got to keep moving your feet.
Gauta going to be a superstar indoor. She serves another ace. This year, playing behind Adora, Anae, and some other big arms, we'd watch her during warm-ups and just ripping balls and know that she's going to be the future for Utah.
And the head indoor coach, Beth Lanier from Utah, just talked about the arm on her and what a bright future she has.
That went into net as she was going after Maggie Scott that time. Ronica Stone now back to serve. A 4-point lead for the Utes 4 pair early in set number 1.
I think both teams need to get away from serving just a particular player and serve seams. Make the players move their feet. That's when it gets challenging to pass the ball on the beach. Right now, Oregon's serving the biggest hitter, right? Make her move. Make her do something she's not comfortable doing.
Taking a look at the score on the 5 pairs, Hanawahine, Hall-Poirier leading by 2 over Doehrmann and Sproule. Ball up, poke.
Again, Oregon's putting free balls right in Berkeley Oblad's lap. You cannot do that. Take her out of the game, at least her offense. Make her set the ball. Berkeley Oblad very comfortable hitting the ball and finding open sand.
We're at 9-6, Oregon. Second down, 9.
Oblad and Gauta at the 14 switch, 10-4 with a 6-point lead. Scott. And on the other hand, Utah is making Maggie Scott pass every ball.
Well, and I like that strategy. Maggie Scott, again, a setter, is not used to taking the first contact.
Little pokey. Here comes Ronica Stone. A huge block in front of her.
Beautiful
net violation, I think, too.
Yeah, Ronica Stone able to find the corner for Oregon. Berkeley Oblad, net violation on the block attempt. You see Berkeley Oblad going way up over the net, but gets the net with her forearm.
Looking for the corner, and she got it. Maggie Scott in the corner.
And that's the aggressive serve. I saw her serving in warm-ups. You want to serve away from the player, not right at them, and this one catches the sideline.
Again, serve is to Oblad. Set is not ideal. Up, Stone goes away from Oblad and away from Gauta.
Well, Oregon's sticking with the same strategy. It's not working. Mix it up. Go after Gauta. test her out. But Oregon, you see, they're running a really low set, so timing is not an issue. And Veronica Stone able to find open court.
Gauta getting the test there and trying to widen the gap again. It was 10-4. Oregon made a little comeback.
I like that Oregon mixed it up and tried out Gauta, but again, they served it right to her. Serve her short, serve her deep, make her move her feet. Gauta shows she's got a nice hand. Look at that little roll shot back to the line.
Maggie Scott's pass, Veronica Stone on 2. Oblad, no one on, goes deep, too deep, and out.
Oblad unable to get on top of that ball, but good rally by Oregon. Nice point won by them.
Scott digs down the line. Oblad pulling off. There's the length.
Nice defensive effort by Oregon. Maggie Scott running to the line, digging that ball, and then putting it away deep over the retreating Oblad.
We've talked all day, all year, for years about how difficult it is for an indoor player to learn when to pull and how to pull. Oblad there trying to pull off. Goes right over her head.
And that's one of the things when we talk to head coach Matt Ulmer for Oregon, they're making better decisions at the net.
3-point lead for Utah's 4-pair, Oblad and Gauta, halfway through set 1.
You're one on Pac-12 Network.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Welcome back to Stanford Beach Volleyball Stadium in Stanford, California. We are in the first match, the first duel of the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship. We're looking at the 4 and 5 pairs, close first sets on both sides. We're going to return to the 4 pair of Oblad and Gauta with a 3-point lead over Scott and Stone. 3 days of Pac-12 Beach Volleyball action coming up in this conference championship over the next 3 days. The best beach volleyball conference in the nation. Oblad, one of the rare passes for Veronica Stone, and they convert.
But Maggie Scott does what she does best. She chases down that second ball, puts up a hittable ball, and Veronica Stone puts it away. Lately, Oregon's been giving Gauta some serves, but Gauta passes the ball well, moves it around, has a nice offensive hand. How about trying middle or short, just to disrupt the offense of Utah? All right, there you see, they make Berkeley Oblad set the ball. She's not comfortable in that role, and Oregon able to score a point. It's all about strategy and switching things up. Even when you think one thing will work, it might not. Switch it up.
It was a 6-point lead for Oblad and Gauta at 10-4.
There's that tough float serve from Maggie Scott. She puts really nice pace on it. And that one away from Gauta, unable to pass it.
Now the lead that was 6 cut to just 1 as Maggie Scott serves. Oblad set, Gauta, little poke, nice control.
And you see she just gets her feet to the ball, sees the open court, and pokes it.
Let's pop in on court number 5 right now, where it's an 8-point lead for the Ducks.
Both programs looking for wins at the 5 spot and haven't been really consistent in this particular pair for either programs.
Right up the middle on the line.
Sproule on an open net.
15-12, 1 point to the switch.
Little ball goes wide.
Cairo
point for the Ducks.
Hanawahine trying to put that ball away. She's only 5'3", but covers the court so well defensively that Oregon needed her in the lineup. Wow, what a serve. Lauren Sproule just laser beam down the line for the Utah ace.
Hanawahine, not over.
I like the strategy by Utah going after the small player Hanawahine. It's not easy to put the ball away. A lot of room, especially with 2 down and they're not blocking her.
And of course, they're keeping the ball on Hanawahine, making her touch every ball.
Well, if you're small player 1, you need to pass the ball well to option it so your partner can set you well or hit it on too. So if you're Hanawahine, you need to focus on the first contact, that pass.
As they take a timeout, Doehrmann and Sproule chipping away at the lead. We're going to go back to the 4 pairs. Gauta now getting some more action at the net, and a big arm for Gauta.
We keep hearing it, Lauga Gauta, just a powerful arm, and I like her offensive hand. She moves the ball around the court, has nice control off of her hand.
And so this is where you're thinking, well, we kept it on Oblad all that time, but now you see Gauta's arm seam.
Yeah, so it looks like Oblad was the right person, but you have to serve her tougher, make her move her feet. I like a short serve to Oblad, take her approach away from her, make her bend over and pass that short ball. That's something she's not used to doing.
This afternoon against the Bruins of UCLA.
This sport has grown so exponentially over the past few years. I mean, the sport was an emerging sport in 2012 with just 15 programs, and now all these years later, 95 programs this season.
Just exploding, the fastest growing sport in the NCAA program. It's been fun to watch, and now the talent pool is getting bigger to try and catch up with those numbers.
The fastest sport to go from emerging to an NCAA championship. Next week will be the 3rd NCAA championship in collegiate beach volleyball. It was a very short and quick trip.
It certainly was, and it's been really exciting to watch. We're seeing the depth of talent. The top ranked team in the country right now, UCLA, 5 strong pairs.
Yep, and USC, who you'll see later today, 2-time defending NCAA champion. So both courts now at the 18-point, going for 21 points in the first set. Of the 4 pairs, Maggie Scott's little doesn't get converted, and so another point for the Ducks on the left side of your screen.
And they're scoring the Oregon Ducks with Maggie Scott at the line because she's serving the ball well. Again, I'd love to see her serve a seam away from the 2 passers.
4 pair, Gauta up, Stone closing the door.
Oregon making Berkeley Oblad, the big player, set the ball. Nice tight ball for Veronica Stone to take advantage of for Oregon.
For the 5 pairs on the right side of your screen, Sproule setting, Doehrmann not able to convert it over. And it is set point for the 5 pairs, right side of your screen, as Hall-Poirier is serving. And an ace serve will end things on set number 5 as the Ducks take the first set over Utah's Doehrmann and Sproule.
And on the pair 4 court, Veronica Stone, back-to-back blocks for Oregon. Back-to-back blocks and a dig for Oregon. Veronica Stone is on fire. Look at her get this short ball. Trickles over the net and Oblad a little bit late for Utah to get that ball.
Was a 6-point lead at one point for the Utes, but Veronica Stone and Maggie Scott switched around their strategy, closed the gap, going after Gauta now. Solid dig by Veronica Stone. Nice pickup from Gauta. Just wide, and a point for the Ducks.
And you see the strategy for Oregon working now. They're making Oblad contact the second ball, taking her offense out of the equation, and it's working.
Tied up 18 apiece. Gauta's pass.
Again, Maggie Scott's serve really moving. The jump float serve with pace in the sand moves more than any other serve. It's the toughest ball to pass out here. Timeout for Utah, and Brenda Wicker is going to sit them down, get them refocused. They need one side out, and then it's all tied up 19-all, race to 21.
Brenda Wicker in her first season as head coach, and there you are seeing the assistant, and then Matt Elmer comes up for the Oregon Ducks. But let's talk about Wicker first. First season, she played played for Beth Lanier in college when she was a player, known as Brenda Barton at that point.
And she's been coaching beach volleyball in the local area the last 20 years. She's played in the AVP event in 2013 in Utah. So there you see Brenda Wicker with her team trying to get them focused on a side out. She played for Beth 94 through 96 and has been coaching in the area and now teaching these Utah players how to play beach volleyball.
Yeah, and the season's short for these programs. I mean, this is it's still in its infancy in some of these schools. So the season was short last year, only a month. Wicker had just a week with them before they started this year. They've got some facilities indoor at Utah. They have some of the best facilities in the country when you look at their overall facilities, and they're committed to beach.
And they were able to use an old gym and put sand inside. So when the weather's bad, they have an opportunity to train inside. Not long ago, I believe in April, they had some snow, so they had to go inside for a day.
Back out on the court now, Scott and Stone with a 1-point lead after trailing by 6 early in this first set. Opening duel of the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship. At Gauta, serve and seam.
There is the serve that I like, away, serving the seam, making the players pass and move the ball, and it wreaks havoc.
Scott and Stone at set point. Gauta, no one on, tries to go over the head of Stone, overhead dig. Oblad, nice cover. But that will do it as Oregon takes set number 1 over Utah.
What a comeback by Ronica Stone and Maggie Scott.
When we come back, we'll talk to the head of Utah's program, Beth Lanier, joining us.
Who's better from here?
Welcome back to Stanford Beach Volleyball Stadium, opening action of the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship. And we have a guest in the booth already with this, Beth Lanier, head coach of volleyball indoor program at Utah, out here supporting the beach program. I know, Beth, that you were one of the kind of the original people who really pushed for beach nationally. Why did you want this sport?
Well, I thought when all is said and done, it's a great sport, number one. And then number two, it's just there's more opportunities for women athletes. And there's more scholarships and more opportunities. So even though I knew there were going to be a lot of growing pains with this sport, as there have been on a national level, and even at our program, I thought it was going to be a good thing for women in sports.
And what's been the biggest challenge for you at Utah starting beach volleyball?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things that you don't think about, you don't realize. You have to, just figuring out the schedule. Number one is, how do you mesh it with your indoor practice and training? And John Dunning definitely was one that shared with me some of his thoughts, and we're experiencing that. And we're in our second year now, and we're starting to figure out some things. And I think every year it's just going to get a little bit better.
Yeah, earlier this week you had some celebrations on campus in Utah, and there were some really nice awards given to your team that I know meant a lot to you.
Mm-hmm. We were so happy, and I was proud of our team. We were recognized by our athletic department. We have this wonderful awards program called the Crimson Carpet Awards, and our team was honored with the most inspirational team in the department, which I thought was great. We had so many exciting matches and so many great things that happened to us in the fall. And then
a great run in the NCAA tournament, we should mention as well.
Yes, I know. Last time I was here, we played. And then Tawny Luafalemana won the most inspirational athlete in our department for some of the trials that she went through with our season and came out with and had such a great season. And then Adora was recognized as the most outstanding female athlete, which I thought was well deserved.
You're talking about Adora Anae, who is on your one pair alongside Danny Barton. Tell us a little bit, as we look at your 4 and 5 pairs playing now, tell us a little bit about that one pair for you, Anae and Barton.
They're good. Danny Barton is a great beach player and just absolutely loves the game of beach. And you've known her for a long time.
I saw her when she was 8th grade.
Yes.
Talented 8th grader.
And she just keeps getting better. And Adora has improved at the beach game a lot. This year, this spring, she's been focused on it, almost exclusively. And so they're a good team, and they've been winning a lot. And we never really wanted to break them up because they're a pretty special team.
And how do you push them at practice? They're pretty high level, both all around players. How do you push them at practice?
Yeah, well, I'm not out at practice a lot, to be honest with you. I've been on the road recruiting more than at the beach.
Yeah.
But, I know that, we have an assistant coach that's a good player, and we do some different things with them to get them going. And they train hard. They're working hard at it.
Yeah, I've been watching them warm up, and they are smooth. I don't know who you serve on that team.
Well, I think that's the problem with them, right? And that's, I think, what we keep hearing is, both of them can pass, both can ball, control, and obviously both can put it away.
Yeah, good combination.
Yeah.
Let's turn our attention, Beth, and we're going to keep you here for a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Over here to the 5 pairs that we're looking at. And Oregon trailing this time as Doehrmann and Sproule have a 2-point lead.
Yeah, we actually, we just got a win against New Mexico last weekend, and with that win, we changed partners. Brenda Barton. Brenda Wicker is her married name. She played for me back in the 90s, and she's a great beach player. We were struggling, and she decided to mix it up and change partners in the last weekend before the Pac-12 championships. And these teams, we came out with the win. So,
what is that like for you, Beth, when you're now seeing your former players be coaches? I mean, you're a legend at Utah. You have been there for so long, which is amazing because you're only 30. But
Exactly.
She was 3.
I don't know how that works.
Exactly. But to now have your former players come up and be coaches, what does that feel like to you?
Well, it's been really nice having Brenda back in the program. She's got 3 older kids, and they all play beach volleyball. And she had a really nice career in the state of Utah and played on the AVP for a little bit. And she was doing a lot of camps and clinics in the state, and it just was a natural fit for her to come back into the program and be a part of this. And she's done a great job, and she understands my philosophy, and she understands our indoor program, which is just a perfect synergy for this.
Well, it's up, little shot, and then they're trying to one it over. Tomahawk back, not having it.
Well, at the 5s, rallies are extended constantly. You see 2 DS's, liberos from the indoor program. That shot by Doehrmann a little bit too deep. She needs to drop that ball short right over the net to get the kill on the first attempt.
The tomahawk, it's a skill used everywhere in the game of volleyball.
All the DSs, the liberos, the setters, getting a chance to attack the ball, awfully fun when you've got an indoor program that is becoming beach savvy.
Our team's a lot better this year than we were last year on the beach, and with it being our second year, and those are the kind of things that we've improved a lot on, is just the shot selection and ability to see the court.
Well, we really appreciate you coming out and talking with us, Beth, here, because we know that you're cheering on your team. Great luck to you indoor.
Thank you.
In addition to the outdoor program, we appreciate all you've done for the sport on both sides.
Thank you very much. This is exciting. What a great event. What a great venue, and it's a great sport, and we're happy to be a part of it.
Enjoy the day.
Okay. Thank you.
And when we come back, we'll dig in some more to the 4 and 5 pairs, Utah and Oregon.
Right after the first of these.
Watching Pac-12 Bay Area.
Welcome back, Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships. The 8 and the 9 seeds squaring off. Day 1, duel number 1 of 3 days of action on Pac-12 Network. Stanford Beach Volleyball Stadium, and Oregon and Utah starting things off. The Oregon Ducks won the first set on both the 4 and 5 courts. Second set action underway now. And we return to the 5 pairs as the Ducks with a narrow 1-point lead. Beth Lanier just joined us, head coach of Utah's indoor program, and really spoke to the growing pains in this sport. Holly, they didn't have beach volleyball when you were in college as a collegiate sport, and so you didn't mix. For these indoor players to try to mix is very challenging.
It is, and they have a short period to learn how to play the game. You saw a nice kill right there by number 18, Lauren Sproule, 6-foot sophomore from Canada. She is long. When she gets on top of on that ball, she has some nice offense for Utah. Right now, we're seeing ball control errors from small players like Hanawahine. She's a DS, #1 in green for Oregon. She needs to focus on her first contact. I think she's worried about her offense, so sometimes she's not focused on her first contact.
With you.
That's a nice pass right there.
No blocking happening on the 5 pairs. Hanawahine just sending it deep. Little. And that's what it'll take. She goes, cuts away.
And when you have no block at the net, there's 2 players back. You need to work the short and deep game. You can't hit it right at the X's where the 2 players are standing.
Like pulling a yo-yo. Short, deep.
Short, deep, middle. You have to keep them guessing. Again, Hanawahine handling the serve. If she's getting that first contact, she needs to take care of it. This is a nice serve to the middle. Actually, it was just high. A little bit middle, but high, and Hanawahine doesn't get her feet in place to pass it.
I think it's important to kind of return to that strategy point that you're talking about in terms of short and deep, because what we're seeing a lot is people going east and west.
Yeah.
And there's 2 players there.
Absolutely. The short, deep game, I feel like both of these programs are in their infancy in terms of beach volleyball knowledge, so they need to learn the basics. And then you start talking about X's and O's, rainbow shots, high, short, deep. But the short ball needs to be, 2 to 3 feet max deep in terms of off the net. And then the rainbow shot has to go over the defender's head and drop in, so it needs some topspin. So these are different angles of the game that you don't use in the indoor game because there's so many players on the court.
Yeah, and we saw that on the 4 pairs a bit when you're looking at Berkeley Oblad, who's 6'4" for Utah. They were doing some jumbo shots, some rainbows over the top, and to get it over the top of a 6'4" player is challenging. Matt Ulmer, second season as the Oregon head coach. He's also the head coach of the indoor program. His enthusiasm for this sport is infectious.
He is so positive and so proud of this Oregon team. I mean, he's got a team with some of the best athletes in the country. They're always fun to watch, and they've got a bright future.
Yeah, he has said that, last year they had 3 practices, the Ducks did, before they competed. This year, 3 weeks of practice. So they're going in the right direction. But he said very openly, some players have played 11 weeks of beach in their life. And that's where we talked about the humbling experience it is to be one of the best indoor players at indoor programs in the nation and then come out here.
And when you're a great competitor like the athletes for Oregon or Utah, these athletes are used to winning. They got recruited to these schools because they're the best athletes in the country. So it's hard to be humbled and try a new sport. Beach volleyball and volleyball are 2 different sports. People think they're the same, similar skill set, but it's completely different.
Hanawahine passes the first ball again, set is up at the net.
I like the idea of going deep, but she needs to hit that ball 8 feet deeper into the corner.
There we go.
That's a better shot with more pace, and that will go. And then next time, drop it short because they're going to think she's going deep.
Off the net.
Again, you see at the 5 pairs, lots of extended rallies. The teams that are winning at the 5 spot know how to put the ball away.
And that's the difference that we see between the programs just starting out and the programs who are the top programs in the country. We've seen the depth grow. We showed you that graphic from 2012 to 18.
Absolutely.
That's been the biggest change.
Well, if you look at the pairs for Cal or UCLA, 2 of the best 5 pairs in the country, high-level players who grew up playing the sport. They could play 1s, 2s, 3s at any other school across the country, but they're at the 5s for a school like Cal or UCLA.
Yeah, and we should explain kind of the ranking system that coaches are expected to rank their players on, like an honor system, 1 through 5.
So basically the head coach's job is to rank his 10 best players because they need 5 pairs. So you have 5 strong pairs, and they compete in the order that they compete with one another and with other programs. That's how you rank them. So your best team is 1, second best team 2, and then down the line to 5.
Very little movement can happen, too. You can only move up and down. So there's no looking for matchups, because I think people new to the sport think about trying to get certain matchups. You do not have the ability to do that in beach volleyball.
Yeah, there's rules set in place. So if you play in the 1 spots, you're only today at another tournament you could only go 1 spot down to 2. And that way they can't manipulate the lineup like some people might want to do for a win.
Yeah, and all the coaches were required to turn in their lineups, their pairs, before the tournament, and then you could contest it if you wanted to and say, hey, that's too good a pair. You couldn't put them down at the threes.
Correct, and there were no issues.
There were no issues. Back to the 4 pairs now as Oblad and Gauta have made some significant adjustments and are poised to take set number 2 from Scott and Stone.
Well, we saw Oblad and Gauta lead most of the first set, and then behind the tough serve of Maggie Scott and the big block of Veronica Stone, Oregon was able to come back and steal that first set. Now, Utah in control.
Set point for the Utes, Oblad and Gauta. Gauta serve. Stone had to move. Very low set, hard to hit, but Maggie Stone gets it done.
Wow.
Or Maggie Scott, excuse me.
Oregon really running a low set. Maggie Scott has a nice offensive hand. When she passes well, she can move that ball around the court.
To your point, though, they're serving Scott, who never passes indoor, making Stone set, who never sets indoor, and then having Scott hit, who never hits. It's the right program. Gauta.
Exactly. And then you see the arm of Lauga Gauta finishing that second set. Now they will go 3, and it's a game of chess. What strategy will each team go with?
So as the 4 pairs go to 3, we return to the action on court number 5 as Doehrmann and Sproule also poised to answer back and perhaps force it to a 3rd set. These points are huge for these programs, the 4 and 5, because we mentioned first team to 3 wins the duel.
And there you see Lauren Sproule with the power. She's got some nice size at the net. She's 6 feet, and she complements the libero for the indoor team, Doehrmann.
This is a double elimination tournament. Winner of this duel will face UCLA, top seed in the tournament and also the #1 team in the country.
That's your reward.
Yeah, that's your reward. And the other team will go to the contenders bracket. Deep, middle.
Lauren Sproule, deep shot. That's the deep rainbow, finding the back line. Those are the angles. You want to hit it away from the defender. Make that defender move. And the coach, you see the coach for Oregon is Janice Opolinski-Hare. She's a volunteer assistant, legendary pro beach volleyball player. Spent a lot of time in Hawaii. Now she lives in Sisters, Oregon. She has got a beach volleyball court built out in the middle of the woods, and she said she invited me to come up and play. I'd love to.
Second set goes to Utah. Both of these programs answering back. 3rd set action coming up next.
I'm not your typical cancer patient.
Thomas and the Pac-12 Conference.
Welcome back to Stanford Beach Volleyball Stadium. Opening action of the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships. Oregon and Utah 4 and 5 pairs battling it out. Each court has gone to a 3rd set. 4s and 5s underway, and Holly, the 3rd set is kind of a little bit of a different strategy or approach.
Well, it's a game to 15, switch on 5s, and I feel like, you know, it's even. It's a race, so you want to minimize errors and go with a strategy that got you that win. Whatever set you won, stick with that strategy if it's working.
So let's take a look at the 4 pair, zoom in on their action as Oblad and Gauta with a slim lead, 3-2. Over Scott and Stone of Oregon. Scott and Stone won the first set after coming back. They were down by 6, came back and won. And then Utah, Oblad, and Gauta, Holly, some significant adjustments for the second set.
They absolutely ran away with the second set. Made some defensive adjustments and were able to score points. Gauta really covers the court well, and when she gets a chance to transition, it puts it away. You see Maggie Scott going towards the line, and then Gauta runs it down. Nice control. Oblad puts up a hittable set, and then Gauta fast arm down the line.
And I've worked with you long enough that my eyes now go always to the setting. Got Veronica Stone setting and Berkeley Oblad setting, and that's really, I know from you, that's going to make the difference.
Well, for sure. I mean, these are players who are not used to setting the ball, so they need to move their feet, face the where they want to set the ball and put up a hittable ball. And that's the challenge for players like that who play middle blockers who don't have to set a lot, or opposites.
Yeah, I feel like people that are new to the game or new watching the game are always looking at the attacking. If you can move your eyes in beach volleyball to the setting, it will change the way you see the sport.
The setting is everything, the most important skill. And I know when I come out to play a match, okay, who sets the ball well, who doesn't? And if they both set the ball well, then it's a toss-up, but it's something you can definitely exploit. Nice drop serve. Again, Maggie Scott really pops that jump float serve for Oregon.
And then off the net, 2 aces consecutively for Maggie Scott.
And Maggie Scott has enough pace on it that even when it catches the top of the tape, it's able to dribble on the other side. Good pop. That pop that she has makes good things happen to the ball.
Scott to Gauta. Gauta blocker pulling off. Scott takes a look at the court. And now it comes down to Oblad's set. Not ideal. Maggie Scott right over Oblad.
Maggie Scott's coming in to shoot the ball. So if you're Utah, you want to drop off the net, but Berkeley Oblad at 6'4" is comfortable at the net. If that ball's set tight, good. Stay in block. If not, get off the net and cover the court. Give Gauta some help.
Yeah, because Maggie Scott is not pounding the ball. She's not a hitter.
No, I feel like she's athletically capable, but when you're making the transition to the beach, getting those beach legs, being able to jump in the sand, that's a big adjustment. Right now, she's just shooting the ball around the court.
Gauta pass. There's a hammer.
Nice defensive touch by Maggie Scott, but Veronica Stone unable to handle it. Lauga Gauta, hard ball down the line, just ricocheting off the Oregon defense.
I'm pretty excited about what Gauta is going to bring indoor, just looking at the adjustments she's made here.
Me too. I like the way she sees the game, and she moves extremely well, even in the sand. What an up by Berkeley Oblad, and saves the point for Utah. Love it. Tight trap set, little cover play, and then Oblad from her knees lifts it enough for her partner to put the ball away with the poke shot.
Here's Oblad. Stone is staying, and Oblad is starting to move it around.
Yeah, Oblad gets her feet there. High poke in the cross court for Utah.
Third set close on both courts. A slim lead for Doehrmann and Sproule, the 5 pairs. So Utah leading on both courts by 1. Scott decides to go kind of off the grid.
Well, Veronica Stone dug that ball. You got to give her the ball. You need to reward her for that dig and give her a good set. Maggie Scott wants that one back.
Scott passing here. Looking for the corner.
There, Veronica Stone stays at the net, and that's our first hitting error that we've seen from Berkeley Oblad, finding the tape. So getting really close in this third set. Utah had a huge advantage, winning 21-11 in the second set, but now Oregon playing this third set better.
Oregon assistant Dave Butler using the time on the side change to talk to his players. One of the rules of collegiate beach volleyball, that's the only time you can be coaching your players unless it's a timeout, is the slow walk.
And it's important for players who are just learning to be reminded, hey, mix it up, serve it short, serve away, change the strategy. You get that kind of information on that slow walk side change.
Gauta serving now. Utes with a 2-point lead. Tough serve at Scott.
Utah has been very effective getting Maggie Scott out of system, and just kind of a tweak in the pass so they're not able to run their offense for Oregon. Very similar to indoor. You want to take teams out of system so it's not a good pass, good set where they're able to put the ball away or hit a high percentage.
So while the 4s take a timeout, let's peek over at the 5 pairs, also locked up in a third set. They're tied at 7-7. Sproule serving for the Utes. Sproule up to hit.
Great dig by Lauren Sproule, and just doesn't get her feet to the ball. By the time she tries to attack it, the ball's already dropped. And that's one of the tricks in the sand, getting your feet to the ball, max jumping, so you're hitting it at the height of your jump.
I mean, both sets so close, and this can really impact the duel. If Oregon wins both, or if Utah wins both, it puts so much pressure on that next flight of matches.
It certainly does, and this is a matchup where really anybody can win. I think Utah might have the advantage at the one pairs just because they've got more experience in the sand. But yeah, you want to start this duel off, if you can, with 2 wins and going down to the wire in these third sets.
Hanawahine serve. Little. Answering right back are the Utes.
Doehrmann with the little cut shot, dropping in front of the defense. And that's a challenge for a defender who usually doesn't get to hit the ball. Trying to find a way to put the ball down in the sand.
Both courts close in this third set. As you look at the left side, Maggie Scott, little ball, as they try to chip away at Utah's lead.
Wow, Marine Hall-Poirier on the pair 5 court. Good dig, nice attempt down the line, just missing wide. All tied up at the pair 5 spot.
On the 4s, Scott setting Stone. Stone puts it down.
And that's the combination you want. Ronica Stone passing, Maggie Scott setting, Ronica Stone finding the open sand.
And the lead that was 10-7 on the 4 pairs, now 10-9 as 2 unanswered by Scott and Stone after the timeout. Oblad's set was over. Stone pokes it. Looking at the 4 pairs, and the lead is obliterated. 3 consecutive points for Scott and Stone.
And it comes behind the tough serve from Maggie Scott. Ronica Stone puts pressure at the net, and then in transition, Berkeley Oblad staying at the net, so Gauta has a lot of court to cover, and Maggie Scott just moving it around the court.
Tied up 10s on the 4s, and a 2-point lead for the Oregon on the 5 pairs. Still keeping our eye on the 4s at the moment, as Gauta. Deep line, deep middle, perfect.
Yeah, Gauta seeing the defense every time. Oregon's dropping into that angle and running to the line, so they're well set up, but that time the middle splits the defense.
On the 5s, Hall-Poirier, tough serve, and another point for the Ducks.
Anytime you see Gauta get her feet to the ball, you know she's going to put that ball away. Nice confidence offensively at the net.
5 pairs looking to close it out here, and Hall-Poirier opens the door a bit with a service error. Doehrmann and Sproule trailing by 3.
And it's all about minimizing errors in this third set, and Oregon has been doing a better job.
Hanawahine, no one on. For the Utes, here's their opportunity with ball control. But not going deep or short.
And there you see the deep shot high at the defender. How do you control that? Do you reach? I mean, ideally, I'm a coach, you have to turn your hips and play it low.
Sun starting to peek through the clouds as it is match point for Oregon. Hanawahine off the tape. Ball is long, and Hall-Poirier and Hanawahine pick up the first point of the duel for the Ducks.
And that's a big win at the 5 spot for Oregon to get the first point of the duel. Gives your team confidence.
Sproule and Doehrmann, a great fight as they come through. Now the question is, on the 4 pairs, will Oregon go up 2-0 or will it be 1-1? This is a huge moment as it's tied up 13 apiece. It changes everything for the next flight.
Oregon has fought back there, now tied up 13-all in a game to 15, and Maggie Scott's on the line for Oregon. That's a good sign for the Ducks.
Yeah, she's their strongest server. Gauta, solid pass. Oblad's set, and a little from Gauta. She gets it.
Yeah, that's a clutch side out, starting with a good pass. Berkeley Oblad put up a hittable ball. Maggie Scott almost there to dig that short ball.
You can really tell that Gauta gets it, right? We've seen her hammer the ball. We've seen her go long and then drops a short.
She's got power, finesse.
This is match point for the Utes. Oblad, it's all about the set here. Scott blocked by Oblad. Tied up, extra points.
Wow.
In set 3.
Wow, that was an opportunity for Oblad to end the match, and Oregon able to get that ball to drop. Wow, Maggie Scott covers herself with a cut shot.
If Ducks are able to win this, they only need one win in the next flight. If Utah is able to win this, it's all even. It all comes down to the next flight. Big swing.
And that's what Maggie Scott does well. She chips it around. She goes line. She goes cut. She doesn't hammer the ball, but she's very effective finding open sand. Lauga Gauta is not seeing the angle block. Veronica Stone is blocking her angle. If she just went high angle, it's an automatic kill.
Here's a match point for the Ducks. Oblad drops it short. Big.
If you score a point off Gauta, you have match point. Go back at her. Keep the pressure on her. Don't go to the big Utah hitter in Berkeley Oblad.
Right when this one finishes, we'll get going with the ones on court 1.
Side change. Tied 15 apiece. There's Oblad at the net. Gauta's serve to Maggie Scott. Trouble. No one on. Little. Maggie Scott picks it up. It's not going over. And now Utah takes the lead.
Wow. Missed opportunity. Veronica Stone had the right idea to poke that over, but did not clear the net. Berkeley Oblad was there to block as well.
Utah for the match. No one on. Scott goes long. Oblad lays out. Gauta in control. Tied up again.
This is a nail biter, and I love it. Both teams going back and forth, making some good defensive plays and transitioning them. Again, Maggie Scott on the line. She's been the one serving when Oregon goes on its long scoring runs. Just long. And that's a break for Utah.
Utah for the match. A serve to end it. And the Utes win at the 4 pairs, tied up for Utah and Oregon in the duel.
What a battle back by Utah and Oregon. Strong in that third set. I like that we're going into the second flight all tied up. Pressure's on.
I am sure that Utah likes that too. This is where the team part comes in. So the Ducks and the Utes tied up at 1 apiece. No time to take a breath because the action continues now on court number 1. And these are the top pairs for both of these programs. Ducks serving. Vander Weide puts the ball into the net to start things off. Looking at Utah, you talked about him. And Danny Barton is serving, one of the strong stars indoor, and you mentioned a beach player her entire life.
The first time I saw Danny Barton, I believe she was 8th grade, and she looked exactly like she does now. I thought she was 22, and just physical, knew how to play the game, moves well in the sand, just dynamic athlete. And you know, so she brings some beach experience to this Utah ones pair. And then Anae is one of the best all-around players in the country. Great platform, just smooth operator. She can bring the heat. She covers the court well defensively. But on the other side of the net for Oregon, you've got 2 great all-around players as well. August Raskie, the setter, will set a 5-1 for Oregon next year. She's a fantastic athlete, a lefty, and she's playing with the 6th rotation Lindsey Vander Weide, the outside hitter for Oregon. So 2 dynamic athletes who do it all.
Yeah, and to set things up for people, because Utah was able to come back and win there at the 4 pair, it really has it all come down to this flight now. Totally changes the look of this duel. 3 games will go on now, the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s. And whoever wins 2 out of 3 of these wins the duel. They will face UCLA, as you mentioned. That's their reward. But it's a double elimination tournament. So critical to get those early wins.
Absolutely. So now that we're all even, first team to win 2 out of these 3 goes on to play UCLA.
Tough serve. Adora Anae catches the tape.
That's one of the things that I try and teach my kids. That's a laser beam serve. Look how fast it gets it to the spot. Barely clears the tape and drops in. Beautiful jump float from Adora Anae for Utah. Wow. There's a lot of pace on that ball. That one carries wide.
Side switch. 4-3 advantage for Raskie and Vander Weide.
So far, Oregon really testing out Adora Anae. Adora Anae not seeing the court as well as somebody who's experienced on the beach like a Danny Barton. But here, Danny Barton sees her first serve. Oh, tight pass, and Adora Anae net violation, trying to set that ball or trying to poke it over. Just the bottom of the tape.
Vander Weide serving. Again at Barton. Hammered.
How about that set from Adora Anae? Puts up a beautiful ball and a good call. There's one thing to set the ball well, then give your partner a good call. That's a hard thing for players to learn as well. Tell your partner what part of the court is open.
Raskie unloads.
I love it. A left-handed setter who can get up and terminate. She was selected to be part of the USA College Junior National Team this summer, going to Europe. She's put some inches on her vertical, too. Training in the sand has been really good for her.
Adora Anae shows some finesse. I love that Beth Lanier, the head coach of the Utah's indoor program, joined us recently, and she was talking about Adora most outstanding female athlete in their entire athletic department award. That really says something about her athleticism.
Oh, it certainly does. Well, we've seen her do extraordinary things for the last 4 years at Utah, so it doesn't surprise me.
Raskie, meanwhile, working the tape. I mean, you can really see that she has great court awareness.
Well, Lindsey Vander Weide does a good job to save that ball. A little tweak in the pass, and then the lefty able to hit that sharp drop ball.
Yep, work the line is what I meant. She's right on the line.
A tough serve right there gets Adora Anae out of system, and a little tweak in the pass. Aggressive serving, especially at the 1 pairs, is really important. You want to get these big hitters uncomfortable and not in the position they want to be in. And the side change at 14. Oregon up by 2. It's interesting, August Raskie, she's 6 feet, but she's the blocker, and Lindsey Vander Weide, a little taller, is the full-time defender.
Unusual that we would see that.
Absolutely. You actually see it at the number 1s for Pepperdine, but look at the heat from Lindsey Vander Weide. She gets on that ball. Beautiful line hit and a great set from August Raskie.
And when we talked with Coach, I mean, the reasoning for Vander Weide staying behind?
Well, she's used to being a 6 rotation player. Her ball control skills in the backcourt are very strong, but she says she thinks of herself as a small defender. Not small, just a reminder, Lindsay.
Yeah.
You're not small, but I like the way that she moves and plays like a small player until she gets to the net, and then she delivers the heat.
Well, and if you think about the way that the pro game has grown, when you look at some of the most successful pairs recently, I mean, Kerry Walsh and April Ross had a great run. There's no small there.
They've gone away in the sport. There's some great smalls still out there, but now the big dynamic defender has really become a factor. And it started with like Elaine Youngs and Nicole Brana, 2 bigs who you wouldn't necessarily put together, but it's tough to score points on a team like that who can pass inside out well if they can transition points. And a team like Elaine Youngs and Nicole Brana, they serve the ball extremely well. But that's been the direction of the sport in the last 4 years.
Yeah, they've gone away from the 2 smalls. I didn't even get to tell you this, but I saw Barb Fontana the other day, and somebody said, so Barb Fontana, who is a business partner of yours, I know.
Correct.
And your former beach partner, said, but she and Holly are 2 smalls. How'd that work? And I said, they just crushed you because they knew they were small, but they didn't play small.
Well, we extended rallies and really, maximized what we had. We had to. Let's see Danny Barton's tough serve. Little tweak in the pass. Agost Raskie off the net, but able to hit that ball deep, and Utah unable to control it.
Adora Anae. Raskie gets a piece of it. And now you've got Raskie with the option as the lefty.
Lindsay Vander Weide and Agost Raskie, they move so well together.
Raskie and Vander Weide having success leading set 1.
For the Ducks, Lindsay Vander Weide, August Raskie.
Maui.
Welcome back to the campus of Stanford for the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships. The Ducks and the Utes all tied up. The 4s and 5 pairs put us in that position. So now we're watching the 1 pairs, the best of the best for these 2 programs, and they do not disappoint as Raskie and Vander Weide facing Barton and Anae of Utah.
We've seen Barton and Anae kind of following them throughout the season. They had a lot of close matches with high-ranked 1 pairs across the country, and lately they've been on fire. They've been playing more together and really in a nice rhythm, but Oregon is challenging them right from the start of this first set.
A couple of trading service errors back and forth. Have to serve tough when you have this kind of skill across the net, so it's a balance. Vander Weide serving. Right in the seam. Raskie up. Barton. Smooth.
Yeah, and good court vision. You know, Adora Anae comes really straight in on her approach, which makes it challenging on the beach to see what the defense is doing. I teach on the left side kicking out, so you're coming in at an angle and you can see what the defense is doing outside of your left shoulder. Just small differences in the game.
How many service errors are too many? We've seen like 4
well,
just now.
You know, I would say 3 per team for a whole set is too many, so maybe 2 max. There you see the high poke shot by Adora Anae. I like that court vision there.
Beth Lanier here to cheer on this team. They say beach volleyball assistant coach, but she doesn't work with the beach team very much. She's the Utah indoor volleyball coach, has handed over the responsibilities to her former player, now head coach, Brenda Wicker.
Yeah, I think being heading up the indoor program is a full-time job. She's traveling a ton recruiting, so she trusts her beach program to Brenda Wicker and Tyler Legursky.
Anae. I couldn't even see where that went, right through hands?
Right through the hands of Agost Raskie, but the arm speed of Adora Anae, she just gets on that ball quick, and if you're trying to block her, you need to slide your hands over the net fast.
There was maybe a half an inch either side that she got through as a 4-point lead for Raskie and Vander Weide. They serve Raskie.
Ooh, gets a piece of the line off the tape. Agost Raskie does not go up to hit like a setter. She has a nice approach, gets up, sees the court, and gets after it.
Yeah, I'm thinking she's loving this, Raskie. I mean, she is getting to pass. She is getting to hit. Block,
dig, and scramble.
She was kind of signaling to Vander Weide where she wanted her to go.
Well, that's important. In the middle of a rally, if you want to make a defensive adjustment, you either audible or show your hand with your hand what you're going to do.
Keeping the serve on Raskie. Looks like she's loving it too. Blocker pulls off. Sends it long.
That ball just long. And this is the thing that you want to do strategy-wise. You want to make Lindsay Vander Weide, who's not a setter, set the ball, and Agost Raskie, who's a setter, hit the ball.
They've been very consistent in serving Raskie, pulling off in a second consecutive one, just a little bit long.
Oregon calling a timeout. Agost Raskie just wanting to regroup. Head coach Matt Ulmer from the beach and indoor team going to get them refocused, give them some tools to get out of this situation.
Watching their lead slip away. And so as Matt Ulmer draws in the sand, we'll go over to the 2 pairs who are now beginning their match. And for Taylor August and Josie Cole versus Bailey Choi and Anae Luafalemana.
We're at 4-5.
Yeah, it's fun to see Taylor August out here in the sand, one of the best players in the country, and she's getting the serve. I mean, this girl is physical. Number 9 in green can bomb. And she's playing with Josie Cole, a full-time beach-only athlete who's a beautiful hand setter. So if you're Utah, you probably want to serve Josie Cole and make Taylor August set the ball.
Going the other way, point Utah.
So one of the things that people do when they come out to the beach is they block too much. You don't need to block all the time. If the ball's within a foot of the net, stay up and block. Otherwise, the defensive player has way too much court to cover all by themselves.
Keeping the ball on Choi. A run from August.
That's a better strategy, going at Josie Cole, making Taylor August run down that ball. Josie Cole able to put that ball away, but I like the strategy. Go at Cole and see what she can do before you test Taylor.
August back to serve, 2-point Utah lead. Little.
And there's some beach savvy right there. Easy over on 2 opportunity. Taylor August gets the overset and takes advantage.
3 courts of action now. The 1, 2s, and 3s. Whoever wins 2 of 3 of these matches wins the duel. But we're going to return back to court number 1.
Ooh, Adora Anae right there to dig that ball, platform out late, and August Raskie with the kill. Oregon with a slight advantage, 18-15 in this first set.
Vander Weide serving. Anae hammers it.
Boom. Beautiful termination down the line. Started with a good pass. Dani Barton very comfortable setting the ball. She's got lots of beach experience. Grew up playing beach volleyball. Even though she lived in Utah, they spent some summers in California. So she is very comfortable in the sand.
It's a really interesting matchup because you got the super athletic Anae, but then you've got Barton super experienced. And so it's really a pick your poison. They've been serving Anae as of late, but she just made them pay.
Exactly. Pick your poison. And that's the challenge playing any good pair.
All right, over the top and out, no touch. Love what we're seeing from August Raskie as well. It's like knowing somebody a while and then realizing there's a whole nother side to their personality.
And Coach Matt Ulmer of Oregon has been telling us what a special athlete August Raskie is, but I feel like it's really on display now. We get to see her athleticism, run to the net, get to hit the ball, dig. Really pretty. Nice kill by Utah there, getting this set close, only down by 1.
This is critical for Anae on the serve. Do they tie it up or do they put it at set point? Here's Raskie, no one on. Barton pulls off, hammers it, and Raskie and Vander Weide will be at set point.
Well, this is the play that Utah wanted. August Raskie off the net, Dani Barton pulling to play defense, but August Raskie had enough pop on that ball that Barton couldn't control it defensively.
Set point. Wow, Anae looks like a beach player all her life.
Really pretty, and Oregon is blocking angle, running to the line, but if Anae keeps hammering that line, you got to switch it up, block line, and make her hit angle. We know she can hit it there too, but just make her think.
She is ripping it, and so Barton with this serve trying to tie it up, but it remains set point for the Ducks. Big up by Barton. And a net violation will end it as the set goes to the Ducks.
But I like the athletic move Adora Anae made to block that ball, barely touching the tape to give Oregon the victory. It's on the next play that she turns and blocks. Oh, her lower body just carrying into the net.
So Oregon takes set number 1. We're going to return back with 3 courts of action.
Stop to make sure someone is okay.
Pac-12 Conference. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Pac12.
Tied up 1-1 in the first duel of the day. The 9-seed Oregon Ducks and the 8-seed Utah Utes in the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships. Second flight of action underway now, and there are 3 courts of action going on. The 1s, 2s, and 3s. Only the 1s have finished the first set, and it was close. Agost, Raskie, and Vander with a 21-19 win over Barton and Anae. As for the 2s and the 3s, 1-point differentials on both of those courts in the first set. Second set ready to begin. And Holly, what should we be looking for on these 1s?
Well, I think just you see the strategy, Utah going after Raskie, and I've been really impressed with the way Raskie puts pop on the ball. They were able to get a couple of hitting errors where she couldn't get on top of the ball line, but Oregon really just, they stayed in the game with some tough serving and some good defensive balls in transition. So just strategy, maybe changing things up a little bit if you're Utah.
Anae off the hands of Agost, Raskie.
Utah needs to find, they're sliding out fine. They need to figure out a way to score points off their defense.
What do you mean by that? Their transition game
Well,
you're talking
transition, that means they're digging the ball and putting it away. So they need to figure out a way, how are they going to dig the ball and transition it for a point, be able to put it away for a point.
Really impressive program as you're looking at them in just their second year ever of beach volleyball at the University of Utah.
Well, you know, Oregon's been able to score a couple points off Danny Barton. She just not passing the ball. And sometimes you get in a rhythm, you're just setting an eye and you forget about your game. So Danny Barton gets a chance to refocus on her serve, receive, and pass the ball.
And I'm looking here, Barton and Anae are awfully far apart, Holly, too. Would you make any adjustments there?
Not really. They're not getting ace down the middle. Anae's got such long arms, she can close that gap quickly.
Serve had movement to it, but it was long.
Yeah, Adora Anae, when she gets that serve in the court, it is deadly.
Set is up to Anae. Rips.
All right, if you're Oregon, switch the blocking strategy just once because Adora Anae wants to annihilate that line. Make her hit somewhere else.
Barton serving.
Anae, annihilate.
I got it.
Very well.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you on your alliteration. I should have it.
That's quite all right.
But she has worked the line so many times now, and it's not a soft line. It is ripped.
Yeah, it's a tough ball to defend.
After the side switch, Barton serving. Holly, we talked about the side switch. Is there a good side, bad side yet? It's pretty still out here.
If you look at the flags surrounding the court, there is 0 wind, not a factor today. In beach volleyball, wind is the #1 challenging factor, but right now, not evident at all today.
What about the sun? Because it's rising, you know.
Well, I always wear sunglasses and a visor, so sun was not so much a factor. A lot of these girls are playing without glasses. I'm not quite sure how. So sun can be a factor if you're trying to follow the ball and it's up. Wow, what an overhand dig by Adora Anae. And then
great eye by Vander Weide.
Wow. Just wide, but great overhand dig by Adora Anae.
Let's take a look at the 3 pairs now, as they are chipping away and working hard as well. Willow Johnson and Lauren Page for Oregon versus Koerber and Powell of Utah.
And when we talked to head coach Matt Ulmer, he talked about Willow Johnson and Lauren Page being extremely athletic, and they play anybody really tight to 15. It's at 15 where sometimes they fall off in terms of their strategic focus. And that's being inexperienced. It's tough to focus and finish the match out like that.
And that's where we are right now, as it is 18-15 Utah advantage. Willow Johnson, left hand.
How about Kenzie Koerber, the lefty, with the big block on Willow Johnson? 2 big, talented lefties from the indoor game doing some work out here. Lauren Page calls a timeout. They're going to talk with Janice Opolinski-Hare, the volunteer assistant for Oregon.
While they're talking it over, we'll check in on the 2 pairs as it is 20-15. Ball up. And Utah controlling that set. Choi and Luafalemana with a set 1 win on the twos.
And Luafalemana, great serve to finish off that first set. And that's a good win. Taylor Agost is one of the best athletes in the country here, playing with the beach-only athlete, Josie Cole. And Utah was able to take Oregon out of system and make them very uncomfortable. You see Brenda Wicker continuing to talk to her team. She likes what she saw. She was excited after that tough ace to win the first set.
Utah and Oregon kicking things off on Pac-12 Network for 3 days of action on Pac-12 Networks. It's a double elimination tournament. Winner of this one goes on to face the 1 seed UCLA. The loser goes into the contenders bracket and will have to fight their way through that. Back to court number 3 now, where Powell and Koerber are at set point.
Service pressure, really important. These are 2 big players who can hit the ball, so service pressure from Utah is important to get Page and Willow Johnson out of system. And there you see the set. Too tight, Utah able to take advantage and win that first set.
Yep, Powell and Koerber with a 6-point win on the 3-pair over Page and Johnson. And so Utah looking pretty strong at the 2s and 3s, getting first set wins. At the 1s, it was Oregon's Raskie and Vander Weide with a set 1 win.
In the first set, Oregon took the first 21-19.
Little from Anae.
Some good chasing going down on this court. Anae gets there, a little left-hand pokey, drops in the cross court for Utah. Utah, small advantage in the second set, up 10-7.
Anae, and they knew that one was going long from the beginning. There's been a number of service errors at this point.
And that's really hurting Utah. They've got a great serve, but if you're missing it, it doesn't matter.
Raskie now behind the line. Anae able to get that and bring that back into the court. Little, so smart by Anae.
She's established her power, Anae. This time, little finesse shot over the block. August Raskie jumps well, hanging in the air, trying to do something about it.
Danny Barton going at Raskie. Vander Weide seems to like her role as a setter.
Oh my gosh. August Raskie, impressive. Lindsay Vander Weide delivering a beautiful ball. They're going to return the favor indoors.
You know, you can really tell when people are enjoying the beach game. Both of these pairs look like they're playing with joy. I mean, I know it sounds hokey, but they are setting well. They are really crushing.
And you're getting to see their athleticism. 12-9, Anae Barton better in the second.
Pac-12 Bay Area.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Opening action of the Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships, the strongest beach volleyball conference in the nation. The Ducks and the Utes tied up at 1 apiece. We're in the second flight of action now. Utah won the first set at the 2 and 3 pairs. The Ducks won the first set at the 1 pairs, and that is where we are turning our attention again. Utah and Oregon's 1 pairs. Raskie Vander Weide for the Ducks. Barton Anae for the Utes. The best that these 2 programs have.
And it's fun seeing them square up. We're used to seeing all these players indoors battling it out, but this is a really nice high-level play for both volleyball programs. Tough serve by Anae. Little tweak in the pass makes it harder for August Raskie to put that ball away.
Yeah, and these seniors, I mean, we're looking at Anae serving now. When she committed to Utah, she had no idea she'd be playing beach volleyball. I mean, this is only the second year for this program, and so you really have to admire the way these athletes have adjusted as well.
Definitely, and they're new to the sport, but they're athletic, they're learning, and it really complements their indoor games. Coach Matt Ulmer, the head coach for Oregon, talks about helping their jump. You see Anae's numbers. 1920, 1,920 kills. Amazing. Brenda Wicker, third on that list?
Yeah. Wow. Kim Turner, second. How about that?
For the youth, that's Anae on court number 1. Danny Barton back to serve.
Danny Barton serving.
14-10.
Little from Raskie. Anae moving forward, and then Barton into the corner. Perfection.
Good strategy, and Anae recognizing the set was a little off the net and that August Raskie was not going to hit the ball, drops and digs it. Good transition by Utah.
Barton and Anae looking to capture this second set, push it to a third and deciding set. Over on court 2, the two pairs. Bailey Choi serving.
Bailey Choi and Tani Luafalemana have been just taking Oregon out of the game. Tough serving, moving the ball around, and when we talked to Brenda Wicker of Utah, she said everybody wants to play with Bailey Choi. She just got great energy. She sets the ball well, just fun to play with, and you can see they are having a great time on the Utah side of the net.
Yeah, and Beth Lanier told us earlier about how Brenda Wicker changed around the pairs a little bit. This is one of them. She made Choi and Luafalemana move up to the twos. For Choi, it's been harder to put the ball away at the 2.
Definitely. Obviously, the higher you go up in terms of rankings of pairs, it gets more and more difficult. Bigger block, better defender. But right now, they are responding really well. Bailey Choi, Tani Luafalemana up 11-2.
And so as we return to court 1, they're in a timeout right now. Anae, we just talked about what a beast she was indoor, the all-time kill leader at the University of Utah.
And that happened this year against Washington State. She just brought the heat, saw the court, and led the Utah team almost every match in kills. She was so fun to watch.
Yep, Kim Turner second. She surpassed her, and Brenda Wicker third all time in kills, and she's really been impressive. As you take a look at that graphic again, how fun is that? Your coach knows of which she speaks. There's the statistical proof. Anae chopping at that. How about Raskie?
And Vander with the left arm stab to get it over the net. Wow.
And Anae pulls her paws out of her pocket, hand sets Barton.
I'm loving seeing the athleticism of these athletes. Look at this one by August Raskie off. Oh, this is the termination by Danny Barton down the line. But the play prior to that was pretty amazing.
Net violation against Vander as she was trying to dig that out of the net.
Couple of ball control errors for Oregon have allowed Utah to really dominate this second set.
Looking for that corner, just missed it.
But the control, the right idea, everything is there for August Raskie. She missed that ball by an inch.
It looks so smooth. I'm so impressed by both of these pairs.
I am too. This is a fun level of volleyball, and it's exciting for both beach volleyball programs.
Barton and Anae with a sizable lead, 18-10, as they came back out and punched first in set number 2. Never over.
That ball set a little bit low. August Raskie could not do anything with it. And Anae with those long arms patrolling the net for Utah.
Ball up. Anae gets a part of it, but no good.
August Raskie sneaks it under Anae. The trick with blocking is you want to go over. You can't go up and then over, and that's why this ball sneaks through a nice block.
Yeah, and interesting, Holly, talk to me a little bit about the pace of that ball, right? She wasn't ripping it, but it wasn't a completely soft shot either. It's in between.
Yeah, well, and you want to change paces because that throws off the timing of the blocker as well. But a nice quick arm on the ball helps you create some angles offensively.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it just shows the depth for Raskie. She can do a little bit of everything. Set point now for Anae and Barton. Little.
Great cut shot. Raskie identifies the angle block, sneaks it sharply across the net.
After dropping the first set in a close one, Anae and Barton have come back out and pounded in the second. What do you think has been the biggest adjustment they've made?
Well, I think they've just been serving the ball well. They've created some tough opportunities for Raskie, and Utah's been taking advantage and scoring points off of it.
So it'll go to a third and short set for the one pairs as we will figure out what adjustments they make. But while they're preparing for that third set, let's pop over to the court number 2 again, where Bailey Choi and Tawny Luafalemana won set number 1 over Agost and Cole of the Ducks. In set 2, again, a lead for Utah. Cole serve off the tape.
Aggressive float serve, able to catch the tape, and Oregon has a big hole to recover from. Right now it's a technical timeout on court 2.
11-5. They get 6-11. We're in our
As they are talking it over on court number 2, a 5-point lead over Agost and Cole. Again, these pairs are all new. A true freshman in Josie Cole, a senior in Taylor Agost.
On court number 3. That's Melissa Powell.
I like the leadership Taylor Agost. Even though she's not that experienced in the sand, she's showing leadership. Hey, let's make these adjustments. Let's try and climb back in this match. You see the Oregon Ducks by class: 4 seniors, 4 juniors, 4 sophomores, 3 freshmen. Pretty evenly distributed.
So Agost and Cole with a hole to dig out of as Choi and Luafalemana 5-point lead after taking the first set. And so Utah kind of has shifted the energy now. They were down after that first pair finished. And then, talking about the 4 and 5s, when they lost at the 5 pair, and then their 4s answered back, their 1s now have answered back, and they're in the driver's seat on the 2s and 3s. Very interesting.
Yeah, it's a whole change in momentum, and all it takes is getting that 1 point on the board. Beautiful kill by Luafalemana. Josie Cole was there, just needs to be ready for that ball. Overhand dig that ball.
Cole, little.
Right now, Utah going after Josie Cole, the beach-only athlete, making Taylor Agost, the big bomber, set the ball. So taking her away from what she does best. Right now, if I'm Utah, I serve it down the middle. Look at the space between the 2 passers. Tough serve. Utah serving the ball extremely well at the 2 spot. Luafalemana has a mean float serve that just moves all over the place.
Chasing it down is Agost.
Agost doing her best to keep that ball alive, but the serve receive breaking down. Josie Cole needs to maybe scoot over closer to the line, have Taylor Agost take more of the court on serve receive so she has an opportunity to pass it. That would be Oregon's strength, the 2 spot.
Luafalemana, the most inspirational player in the female athletics at Utah, awarded this week.
Choi and Luafalemana doing everything right, touching balls. Luafalemana not just bringing the heat every time, little finesse shots as well. Look at the spin on that ball, taking the ball away from the defender.
And a service ace off of Cole.
Both Choi and Luafalemana. 19-8.
If you're Oregon, I don't know what else you can do. You can make Agost take more court, which you're seeing her do.
Standing pretty much in the middle of the court.
Okay, well, it served its purpose. She got her ball, and then boom.
Little. And Utah just rolling at this point. Choi goes little, and it is match point for the Utes.
And their side change. Agost taking more of the court is important, but she cannot ease up on the hit. She just needs to terminate, and we know she's way over the net.
Service ace to end it. And Choi and Luafalemana put another point on the board for the Utes.
Luafalemana's serve is fantastic, pinning Josie Cole in the tiny part of the court with accuracy. Utah up 2-1. One more point to win this duel.
And a double elimination Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championship. So let's go return to court number 1. This is tied up 1 set apiece. And so if Utah is able to win this third set, short set, and they are leading now 5-0 in a short set, then the Utes win the duel.
Yeah, and it's come down to it. I'll tell you, Oregon won the first set here, but Utah's responded really well. Now it's 1-5.
Barton. Anae puts up a beautiful ball. Here comes Raskie. Danny Barton saw that line.
And is seeing the court really well, especially to end a long rally. You can't be everywhere. Lindsey Vander Weide touching lots of balls defensively. Oregon calling a timeout.
On a run in set number 2.
Oregon's Raskie and Vander Weide having trouble finding an answer. They 6-1 is a big deficit in the third set to try to overcome.
Well, the pressure is on.
Let's return to the third court. Willow Johnson, Lauren Page, Koerber, and Powell. There's a closer set here as Powell and Koerber. Again, they won the first set, so Utes in the driver's seat all the way across, but a much slimmer margin, just a 2-point lead. If Page and Johnson can win this set, they will extend it to a third. So these are the 8 and 9 seeds squaring off. Winner of this one plays UCLA.
Today at 3, so that will keep them in the winner's bracket, and the loser will drop down to the contenders bracket. You see USC, Arizona State next.
Yep, USC, the 2 seed. They've won this tournament twice. They're the 2-time defending NCAA champions.
And the Hot Cal emerging program number 3 against Washington's number 6. Washington made a big run in this tournament last year.
They were fantastic. Picked to finish, seeded 7th last year, ended up finishing 3rd, beat Arizona, a big win. That's an exciting match.
And then Stanford, Arizona, the 4 and 5 square off at 1:15.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year for both of those programs. Arizona has had a lot of new players come in. They graduated a lot of talent, have gotten better. The season has gone along, and Andrew Fuller's done terrific things for the Stanford program. They've got a lot of talented indoor players who are committing outdoor as well.
Well, it's fun to see the growth in all the programs, and you're seeing more beach-only athletes. I think that's the direction of the sport right now. You're seeing a lot of crossover athletes, and it's fun to see the athleticism. But when you're training and preparing for beach volleyball year-round, I think that gives you advantages in the sand.
For sure, and there's programs like USC that does not have a single crossover athlete. I don't think they do.
No, they don't.
And the teams that have depth, we're seeing, their 5-pair be incredibly strong and could be a 1 on any other program, and that's certainly the story for USC and some of the other programs, and UCLA for sure.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, Anae and Barton continue to dominate. Raskie serving now. If Anae and Barton win this set, Utah wins the duel. Lift is up. Ducks point.
That ball never cleared the tape. 3-7 side change. Oregon has a ways to go, but they are capable of scoring some points. I think the problem is where do you score those points? Where do you go on those runs? Who do you serve with Anae and Barton? Barton's moving the ball around the court, and we've seen what Adora Anae can do with the ball.
Anae, just control.
How about that save? The trickler off the net. Danny Barton makes it look easy. Those drop often. She gets her feet to the ball, and then Adora Anae stays under control. Good lift and nice shot over the angle block.
Pair number 3. '18, Powell and Koerber, +2. And if Powell and Koerber are able to win this second set, then this would clinch the duel for the Utes.
Kenzie Koerber, the opposite for the indoor team at Utah, uses the rainbow shot. It's hard to control. Yes, Oregon touched it, but they couldn't control it. She's got lots of range. She was one of the Utah players that was kind of, dragging her feet about playing in the sand, has really made some nice progress for Utah.
Yeah, and that's not us saying that. That's Brenda Wicker saying she really came alive, she felt, when she was paired with Powell, really enjoyed it. I mean, it takes a little bit of cajoling at times, and then they just seem to fall in love with the beach.
And playing with somebody who you have nice chemistry with, you work well together, it makes the experience fun. And I think chemistry is underrated, especially in women's beach volleyball. It's an important skill. Not skill, it's an important, factor when putting your pairs together. It's not always the two best players that make the best combination.
Yep, and Powell, meanwhile, came from school in Houston. Her husband plays football at BYU, and she has 1 year of eligibility left and wanted to spend it in the sand with the Utes. I did not know you could have a Utah BYU household.
Yeah, interesting,
it's
right?
like a USC UCLA household.
It happens. My twin brother went to USC.
Powell and Koerber have kind of let that lead, have definitely left that lead slip away. It's now tied up 19 apiece.
And Page and Johnson really fighting hard to stay alive in this match.
Ace serve, and Page and Johnson in the driver's seat, going to try to push it to a third set.
Set point for Oregon. Nice serve by Lauren Page.
On the one pair, this is also for the duel as Utah leads 14-3. Hammered away. Anae puts it down, and an exclamation point seals the duel for the Utes.
Adora Anae's line is unstoppable. Wow.
What a win for the Utah Utes. Their one pair, Barton and Anae, dropped the first set, came back and won sets 2 and 3. Utes win the duel 3-1.
Blackjack's on the board. We'll switch sides. 21 all. Great job, you guys. Way to pull that out.
And it's time now for our State Farm Get to a Better State. The Utes, starting with the 4 pair, securing the duel.
Impressive serving by the Utes all morning long, and I think that really put them in a good position to win this duel.
The 4s, the 2s, and the 1s. Anae with the exclamation point. That's our State Farm Get to a Better State.
And then they win a third.
Action still continuing, though, as we play to completion. And Powell and Koerber 1 point away from the Utes walking off. And that does it, as Powell and Koerber fight off a push from Page and Johnson.
And that's the 4th point for Utah. Oregon did not make that easy in the second set, but the serving for Utah has really been the difference.
First duel in the books. Utah with a 4-1 final over the Oregon Ducks. The Utes will go on to play UCLA at 3 o'clock today.
And Brenda Wicker, the new leader of the beach volleyball program, happy about it.
When we come back, well, it will be USC versus Arizona State. Action all day on Pac-12 Network. Don't leave us.
At Maui Gym,